Okay, so if you live in a city in India, you probably make this choice almost every single day. You pull out your phone, you need something, and you open one of two apps. That simple little tap, well, that's the front line of one of the biggest, most expensive business wars happening in the country right now. So let's break down who's really winning the war for your wallet.
This isn't just about two companies trying to outdo each other. This is a super high-stakes battle for the future of convenience itself. It literally shapes how we eat, how we shop, how we live. The winner here doesn't just get a bigger slice of the market, they get to define our daily habits.
For years, we all called it the food delivery war. But that's all news. The entire battleground has shifted, and it shifted dramatically. So, to really understand who has the upper hand today, we have to look way beyond the dinner plate and into the brand new arena where this fight is actually being won or lost.
Right, so to figure out who's the bigger player right now, looking at just food orders won't cut it. We have to look at the total value of everything flowing through each app. And to do that, first we need to get a couple of key terms straight. Think of it like this. GOV, or gross order value, is the sticker price of everything in your cart. But NOV, net order value, is what you actually pay at the end after all those juicy coupons and discounts. And both companies are now focusing on NOV, because, it's a much truer picture of the money actually changing hands.
And when we put those numbers side by side for the first quarter of fiscal 26, a new leader pops up. Zomato's total B2C, or business-to-consumer transaction value, soared past 20,000 crore rupees. That is way higher than Swiggy's, which was just under 15,000 crore. So yeah, for the first time, Zomato is the bigger player overall. The real question is, where is that massive lead coming from?
And here's the aha moment. The answer is right here. The biggest piece of Zomato's pie? It's not food delivery anymore. It's quick commerce. That's their grocery and essential service, Blinkit. In fact, for the first time ever, Blinkit's quarterly value actually shot past Zomato's iconic food delivery business. I mean, this is the single biggest story in this whole rivalry.
Okay, so with quick commerce taking the spotlight, what does that mean for their original turf, the old-school food fight? Let's see how that's playing out.
And this is where the story gets a little more complicated. Swiggy is actually growing its food business faster, almost 19% year-on-year. They added 1.2 million new monthly users just last quarter, so they are all in on expansion. Zomato, on the other hand, grew a bit slower, at 13%, but, and this is a big but, it's running a much more profitable machine. We're talking an impressive 5% margin compared to Swiggy's 2.4%. So it's a classic case of growth versus profitability.
Which brings us to the new and honestly the decisive front, quick commerce. This is where the war for convenience is being fought with everything they've got, and it's where the future of both these companies is really being decided.
And this number, this just says it all. Zomato's Blinkit grew its net order value by a jaw-dropping 127% in just 1 year. This isn't just growth, folks. This is an absolute explosion, and it's completely rewriting the rules of the game. So when we put their quick commerce arms, Instamart and Blinkit head-to-head, Zomato's lead becomes crystal clear. Blinkit isn't just bigger. We're talking a quarterly value likely over 9,000 crore rupees compared to Instamart's 5,655 crore. It's also growing faster. Blinkit now has over 1,800 of those dark stores, while Instamart has about 1,062. And maybe the most important part, Blinkit is so much closer to breaking even, with a loss margin of just negative 1.8%, while Instamart's losses are way wider at nearly negative 16%.
This quote from Zomato's CEO Deepinder Goyal really gives you a peek into the mindset that's driving this crazy execution. It's a culture of, well, never being satisfied, always pushing, always believing they're only 1% done. And that philosophy seems to be the fuel for their aggressive push for massive scale and market dominance.
So how on earth does Swiggy fight back against a scaling machine like that? Well, their strategy is baked right into their company's DNA: innovation.
See, Swiggy's CEO frames their whole approach differently. They see themselves as these relentless tinkerers, constantly experimenting, constantly asking why not for the customer. So it positions them less like conquerors and more like innovators, always trying to build the next cool thing that solves a problem for you, and you can see this tinkering in what they're doing. Every new feature is aimed at a very specific need. You've got Bolt for pure speed, the 99 store for affordability, and Max Saver for building bigger, more valuable orders. It's not one giant move. It's a strategy of 1,000 small, clever cuts, trying to win over different types of customers.
Zomato's comeback to that, it isn't about tinkering. It's about building a position so dominant that it's just unassailable.
and doing it through pure scale and speed.
Their philosophy is super clear. Get big and get big fast. They're expanding their infrastructure at a pace that is just blistering. And they use this really unique leadership model where business heads actually rotate every couple of years. Why? To keep execution sharp and stop anyone from getting too comfortable.
And their big projects just scream conqueror. They're not just expanding, they're aiming for total market saturation. 2,000 Blinkit stores, bistro to beat rivals on food speed, and even huge ecosystem projects like greening India. It's all about building a fortress, not just a nice little storefront.
So, what we have here are two giants with two totally different game plans, a tinkerer versus a conqueror. To really understand who might have the edge, we have to look at the one thing that fuels this entire war: cold, hard cash.
And this might be the most telling slide of them all. Zomato is sitting on a mountain of cash. We're talking over 18,000 crore rupees. Swiggy has a very respectable 5,300 crore, but that's less than a third of Zomato's war chest. This financial firepower gives Zomato a massive advantage to fund its crazy expansion and just outlast the competition.
Okay, let's just pull it all together. In food delivery, you've got Swiggy's growth up against Zomato's profit machine. In the all-important quick commerce battle, Zomato's Blinkit has a clear lead in pretty much everything: scale, growth, and how much money it's losing or not losing. And looking ahead, Swiggy is betting on smart innovations, while Zomato is betting on overwhelming scale, all backed by a much bigger pile of cash.
So here's what it all boils down to. We are watching a classic business showdown: innovation versus scale, a tinkerer versus a conqueror. Is Swiggy's clever, customer-first innovation going to be enough to outsmart Zomato's blitzscaling strategy? Or will Zomato's sheer size and financial muscle just create a lead that's impossible to catch? The next chapter in this war for your wallet, it all depends on which of these two powerful ideas wins out.